All right, everybody. I'm gonna do another update on the Pawious collar. This is just a more advanced setup guide on how to do it, or a more advanced way that I figured out how to pick a center point, figure out where you want to go. But anyway, let's get right to it. See, I currently got it set to 108, but but I'm gonna show you how to reset this to figure out the optimal distance of where you want to put the center point. It's beeping because I'm out of range right now. Once it's on and you get those 4 bars, you saw those. Once you get to the menu with the 4 bars by clicking this until you see it. Then you hold it and you get the zeros. But we're gonna go all the way back there to the tree line. Come on, Ace. 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 But you see, I set the center point back there. And you see it still climbing. This is going to give us the diameter of our circle. Because this thing, based on the center point, it goes by the radius. So we want to figure out the diameter. So versus, using algebra and geometry and all that mess, you just set the center point to the edge of the circle, where you want the boundary to be. And then we're going to walk on down here. You can see we're at 90. I want to say it's set to 110, so it's probably going to go off when we hit the 110 mark. We're 3/4 of the way there, and we're looking at 165 yards right now. All right, this is kind of the range. I want to go this light pole all the way from the road up there. And that's level 3 shot because I got it set to 110 and we're like at 200 and something right now. But, all right, so we are 228 yards from the road. So we want the radius. We want the center point. So that's going to be 114. So we're going to come back until we get to 114. And yes, I am getting lit up right now if I was touching those prongs, because it is going off, but I ain't worried about it because I am well out the bounds. But we're just going, being you saw it was 228, 114 is the radius. That's what you want the center point of that circle to be. And it's still going off because, like I say, it's set to 110 and we're at 170. That's the stage 5 shot. It goes to stage 6. So we're almost at the worst you can get. But we have been out of that bounds for a hot minute, So you dogs got plenty of time to get back in between the shots. And each time it intensifies when they don't. But my dogs ain't never needed it. I mean, when it beeps, yeah, that's it. That number 6. That's as high as it goes right there. We're looking for 114, which from what I know is right here. Just to have a good point, we're going to go 110. Just because I can use this light pole as a marker to know this is the center point. So to set the center point again, you just hold that button. You hold the GPS button. And you see where it's 0. So this is the radius. This is the center point. From here, we determined that the halfway distance to there is, say, 114 yards, and to the road is 114 yards. So being this is the center point, we're gonna click the GPS button again. And you see it's set to 107, which We'll do 114. We're going to fine tune it at the end. It's just a really quick, it's a, I ain't gonna say quick way because it does require walking, but I don't mind it. I like getting, I try walking this path every day. Like, this path is twice as long as I showed you. It goes all the way back to the sound. I gotta just go back there and sit. That 114 isn't gonna quite be 100% accurate because I kind of adjusted a couple yards just to make that light pole the center point, just so I have a reference. You don't have to do that. I could have just went 114 and left it, but I like having a little marker to know where stuff's gonna happen or where stuff's set. See, we're getting a little close to the road now. Ace, get back here. But I want to do like a couple yards back. We're gonna do like 110. So 110, you know, that gives us a little lay room. And I'm adjust it down even more, fine-tuning it to be able to get in and out the front door. But, so we're gonna set the distance. You just hit the GPS button again, and we're gonna dial it back to 110. So now, anytime, right now, when it crosses 110, it's gonna beep, and I'll show you. See, we're at 108, 107, but now we're gonna go back towards the road. And 110, and that was the level. That was the beep. And just as long as we stay out here, it's gonna keep on doing that. It kind of debates whether you're going back into the zone, it'll quit, or if you're still running away from the zone. See, I'm still at the same distance. That's a vibrator. You hear it? I put it to the phone. The next is the shock. But the next is, I just want him to be able to come out the front door and maybe have a small section of the front yard. So, see, coming into the porch, we're we're at 199, whatever. We're going to see what the edge of the deck is, just so he can get off the porch. And it's exactly 100 yards from the center point. But I want him to be able to go out there a little bit. So we're going to I think I found my magic number is about like 107, 108. But we're going to set it at 107. And you see, we got to about 109 before it went off. It's set at 107, but that's how quick it is most of the time. If the GPS signal is a little low, it does have a little delay, but it's still not horrible. But anyway, guys, that's my little bit more advanced way of setting it up versus just picking a spot. Before, I just randomly picked the center point, walked to the edge, and set the radius. But if you already know what you want your endpoint to be, you set it at 0 at that point, walk where you want the other endpoint to be, look at the distance, cut it in half, walk back to half. Like I say, ours was 228, so 114. So we went back to 114 and we set that as the center point. And then once that's the center point, you can fine tune the distances exactly how you want them. Like I say, I showed you how I did it with the deck and everything. But that just kind of gives you a gist of an easy, quick way of setting it up. Like a really accurate way of doing it. Versus just picking a center point and walking where you want them to go one way. You can map out the whole circle. You know exactly where it ends one way and where it ends the other way by doing it the way I just, showed y'all could do it. But anyway, that's just my second update on this collar and how much I am really pleased with it. And I hope that helps y'all out a little bit with figuring out, whether you want to go with this option or not. Because I really love this collar, and you cannot beat it for the price. I mean, 130 bucks. I mean, yeah, you can't draw out your yard. Yeah, it doesn't have live monitoring to see where your dog's at. But for $130 compared to $700 or $1,200, you cannot beat it. But anyway, that's it for this one, guys. See y'all later.